There we go. And zoom you guys out so I can. Okay, I cannot figure out how to get the comments to come up. Oh, there we go. Hi, Wendy. Can you hear me? Hi, Tina. Okay, so we are going to sew a little pouch. I've been working on a new embroidery machine at my local sewing shop. And that means that I have been making some super fun designs. And one of the things that I did yesterday was this very cute little pouch. This is the Midnight Kiss pouch by Sincerely Jen. It's free in her Facebook group, and I'll get a link in the description of this video when I'm done, because I can't even get the comments to come up right now, so I'm pretty sure I have no idea how to get a link. But if somebody wants to link her Facebook group, that'd be great. So we're gonna make this, and this is all embroidery that's done just on some regular vinyl. And then if you open it up, it's got this bright, fun lining. I'm going to try and back up so you can see me for a minute, and then you're probably just going to be able to see my waist while I cut. But I'm going to show you how to use a template. So this is the Midnight Kiss pouch template. I sell these on the website. They're only $20 right now, I think, on sale. And everything you need to make this pouch is right here. So it's one piece, it's nice and quick. And this is the first one I've ever made, this pouch right here, and I sewed it up in, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes yesterday, including threading my machine and changing a bobbin. So it's pretty fast. And it looks like we've got a decent amount of people on here, so I'm going to start, and I'll leave the video up for replay later, so if you missed part of it, you can come back and watch it again. So for today, I embroidered these cute little panels, and they're kind of, I don't know if you can see it, they're quilted. So I put a layer of batting underneath between my stabilizer, and it got like this nice quilted look. Oh, hi, Jenny! So for those of you that don't know, Jenny, that just popped on, she is the wonderful designer behind this pattern, and it is a fantastic pattern. It's very quick, and she was nice enough to make it free for all of us if we're in her group. So I embroidered these panels, so this is going to be the front, and then this will be the back. And I'm going to show you how to use a template to line it up. So I don't know if you can see, it might be kind of hard for you to see. But I'm gonna do it this way so you can kind of see. So because these are clear, you can basically center your design and cut right around it. And it's very easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that so you can see how that looks, and it might be kind of hard for you to see what I'm doing down here. Maybe I can, let's see if I can tip you a little bit. Well, that's about as good as we're gonna get. Next time I'll put you up on the ceiling so that you can actually get a good bird's eye view of what I'm doing, but for right now, this is what we're working with. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of make sure that it's even all the way around. And I'll just kind of hold it down like I'm using a ruler. Just the same as when you're cutting with a ruler. Make sure it's kind of straight. And I'll start by cutting off the sides. And when I use templates, I kind of just move around a bunch. And then I actually use, for the little corners that I have to cut out, I use my X-Acto knife. So it makes it really easy to do. And I do recommend that if you're going to embroider your panel, that you cut it right before you're gonna sew it, because a lot of these embroidery threads, I'm gonna have to singe them on the edges, but they will unravel if you're not careful, because I'm cutting right through my embroidery background. So there's one panel. I'm just gonna toss the rest of that over there, and I have a garbage can over here. I'm not just throwing stuff on the floor. So there's one panel perfectly cut with my design nice and centered. Okay, and then for this one, since it's just one big piece, I am going to try to have a little bit of extra over here to do a little key fob or something, because I just embroidered the whole hoop size for this because I didn't have a design going in the middle. So what I'll do is I'll kind of line my design up over on the side. There we go. And I'm just kind of looking to make sure that I'm lined up along the bottom edge here. So this one, since I lined it up on the bottom edge, I didn't cut through any threads down here, so it's going to make it not unravel as easy. Let's see. I'm going to click some buttons here and see if I can get the comments to come up, because I can see you all, but I don't know if you can actually hear me or if I need to fix anything. And I've propped you up on my ruler. I have this ruler rack that holds all my rulers so that I don't just throw them in a drawer, and it also holds my acrylic templates. And you're propped up on it. So when I go to my sewing machine, I'll show you where you were at. But for right now, I can't figure out the comments, and I promise I will figure that out for the next live that I do. So I look like I'm lined up pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. And actually, before I cut this out, I'm going to take my lighter and singe the edges of this, because as you can see, it's kind of starting to fray a little bit. And because I used polyester thread on the embroidery machine, it should just singe up nicely and stop unraveling on me. Just like I would with cork. I'm just going to get the edges just quickly. Just like that. Try not to light anything completely on fire here. Like that. Don't do that. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. Just like that. And I'll use my X-Acto knife in the corners again. There we go. Just like that. Super easy. And there's my back panel. So I'm going to go ahead and singe the edges of this, and I'm actually going to keep that scrap because I have a nice chunk left over on here that I could probably do something with. So I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to make sure I singe up my edges here. Try to do this so you can see this time. And I kind of move the lighter fast so that I don't burn anything, mostly myself. Just like that. And I make sure to get in the corners too, because that's one of the places the threads like to fray, I've noticed. There we go. So now I have my front panel and my back panel, and look at how cute that's going to look together. I'm pretty excited about it. And then the other thing that's really nice about this template is it's got this little cutout right here, if you can tell. I can stick my fingers all the way through it. This is for the zipper tabs, so you don't even have to remember the measurements. And all I do for the zipper tab is I take a little bit of my vinyl and I put this, I'll just put it right over the vinyl, and I'll just use a pen. Let's see if I can do it to show you. Maybe you can see it like that. So I'll just take a pen real quick. I'm gonna use a Sharpie because that's what I have. And I'm gonna trace it. Just like that. So now I have my zipper tab. And because I'm using vinyl, I'm actually just gonna cut this in half and use it for both zipper tabs. So I'll just cut it just like that. And then I'll kind of line it up on my cutting mat and eyeball it right in half. So then I'll have 2 zipper tabs ready to go. All right, now the other thing that you need to prep, which is the easiest ever prep for this whole pouch, is a zipper. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my zipper. And the measurements for this are in the pattern. I know it's free, but I feel kind of weird giving you all the measurements for something, even if it is a free pattern that you could go get. So I'm gonna cut the zipper to the measurements in the pattern, and yes, I'm using my rotary cutter to cut my zipper. And I'm gonna singe the edges of my zipper so that those don't unravel, and I always singe the rest of the zipper. And I have a zipper jig from Jennifer, who's on my team, but it's over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this the old-fashioned way, which is fiddle with it till it works. And there we go. So just kind of line them up, put it on my table, hold it flat, and zip it. There we go. So now that I have my 2 zipper tabs, my front and back panel, and my zipper, I need to cut my lining. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and the lining's just as easy to cut as the exterior, but I can cut 2 layers at once because I'm not fussy cutting my lining. I'm just cutting any old lining. So I'm going to use this rose gold canvas, and I know it's kind of hard for you to probably see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to fold it over on itself, line up my template, and I'm just going to cut all the way around this really quickly. Then I can get this out of the way, just like that. I can cut the bottom and the side, and I went ahead and put my X-Acto away. So we're going to get our X-Acto knife back out and cut our edges, our corners. And you could also trace these on or cut them at the end. A lot of people like to do different things, but this is what I do. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way. There we go. And just like that, our lining's cut. So there's all our pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and pick you up. And if you get motion sick, tune away for like 30 seconds until we get situated at the machine. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm gonna tilt you sideways. Oh, you are not gonna be able to see me. There we go. So right there is my ruler stand that you were all sitting on, propped up. This is my very messy cutting table. It's filled with stuff, as always. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my pieces. We're gonna go on over to the machine. There we go. And hopefully I can put you down at the machine where you can see what I'm sewing. I'm gonna turn a bunch of lights on here. Let's see, normally, there we go. Hopefully that's a pretty good view and you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. I don't know if you can see the panels better. Oh, and no, I don't own a cat. Well, I mean, I do own a cat, but this was an acrylic accident that I had this morning from from some acrylic templates that were sticking out past the shelf, and I reached for some packing materials. And I got myself pretty good. It stings and it's been 9 hours. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is, you ready for this, Wendy? I'm going to change my thread color to not yellow. And Wendy will be very impressed with that because I always top stitch in black and I had changed it to yellow for yesterday's pouch, but I'm gonna change it back to black now. So my machine is really easy to thread. I have a knee lift lever over here. I sew on a very old vintage Pfaff. It's a 145. And this thing is fantastic for all sorts of heavy duty sewing. It works great. And it's pretty easy to thread, which you're gonna watch me do right now. Because I gathered my materials, but I did not thread my machine with the right color. I do have a bobbin though. Oh, come on. Here we go. There we go. All right. I see Kay, I see Tina. I can't see anybody's comments, unfortunately. But I will go back after the video, and if I see a bunch of comments, people asking questions and things, I'll go back and answer you. I have a lot of my team members on this live right now in the comments, so they can also help you. They're all fantastic. All right. And then I didn't change out my thread, but I at least have a bobbin ready to go. So we don't have to wind a bobbin. I see Cynthia's watching. Hi, Cynthia. I'm just gonna bring up my bottom thread real quick. There we go. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna prep my zipper tabs. I leave the raw edges of my vinyl showing for this pattern because it's really pretty simple to do it that way. So I'm gonna cut some double-sided tape. This is a 1/4 inch, and I'm actually just gonna cut it in half so that I can use both halves of this piece for one zipper tab. And I have these are like Tim Holtz snips. These things are phenomenal. They do hurt if you accidentally stab yourself, but they cut through everything. And they're razor sharp and they're tiny for snipping little threads. So I am going to put some double-sided tape on my zipper tab, here and here, just like that. And then I'm going to peel both of them off at once. And I'm just going to fold it kind of like this and just put my zipper in and kind of sandwich it so it's even. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and top stitch that in place, and then I'll do the other one. My tape usually will hold long enough for me to tape both ends on the zipper, but sometimes it doesn't, so I'm going to go ahead and just top stitch it down since I'm here. I'm going to turn my machine on. That will help. Snip my threads off, and we'll do the other side real quick. I have all of my, I don't know if you can see over here, I have all my tape hanging up on these little magnetic hooks. This is a metal rack. Normally there's a bunch of fabric bins here, but I am working on making room for more fabric because y'all buy a lot of stuff during pre-order and I am out of room. So we are in the middle of a little bit of a renovation here, and it's been nice, but a lot of work and well worth it. Okay, so I'm gonna prep my other zipper tab just the same way I did the first one. Just like that. I'm gonna peel both of those off. Alright. Go ahead and do the same thing, just kind of line it up, sandwich it on there, stitch it down. Let's see. Oh, I moved you. I am so sorry. There we go. I'm trying to get the comments to come up because it tells me who's watching. I see Holly. Hi, Holly. I wish I could get the comments to come up. I promise I will fix that next time. Okay, so there's our zipper all prepped and ready to go. Now I'm going to find the middle of my panel, which happens to be right in the middle of the design, so I don't actually have to mark it. I'm going to mark the middle of my zipper. So when it's closed, it's that way. So I'm going to mark the middle of my zipper and I'm going to line that up. And we're going to baste it onto the exterior first. So I'm going to put some clips on it. I have this cute little 3D printed skull that Jennifer Silva made for me, and I love it. I keep my clips in it at my machine, and it's my favorite color. Okay, so I got some clips on, I got my zipper clipped in, and we're gonna baste that in place real quick. Zipper out of the way. Okay. And then we're going to mark the center of our lining panel. I just fold it in half and mark the center. Sometimes I will actually make center notches on my templates, but because this is just such a quick sew, I usually don't bother. I'm gonna go ahead and clip that in place. You can use double-sided tape for this, but I find that that takes way more time and effort than I'm willing to put into a 20-minute sew. I'm gonna make sure I've moved my zipper out of the way. There we go. We're going to go ahead and sew that on. And I am going to backstitch this time. Move the zipper, put our needle down. Move the zipper out of the way. If you see me reaching up to check my tension discs, this is a really old machine and sometimes my tension discs won't re-engage when I use my knee lift. I've sewed pretty far with no tension. It's a bummer. So I always have a habit of reaching up and kind of clicking my machine right here. That's what I'm doing. Okay. We've got our first side of the pouch ready. We're going to kind of just finger press the waterproof canvas. All right. We're just gonna, I actually just use clips once I kind of fold my layers back to top stitch. I just use clips to make sure I'm holding both sides kind of even. I hear my husband outside. He's barbecuing hamburgers for dinner. So if I keep looking out the door over there, I'm looking for my husband because he has dinner coming soon and I am starving because it's right in the middle of dinner time here. Okay, so I've got my panel ready and I'm just going to top stitch from edge to edge at 1/8 of an inch right along there. If I could get the thread out of the way. This is very difficult to do when you have a Band-Aid on your index finger, which was also an acrylic accident. It's a dangerous business over here. All right. I'm just going to kind of hold this out of the way while I top stitch. Move my zipper. Clips out of the way. There we go. There's our first panel top stitched. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. I have this really bright light up here. Hopefully that helps. Connie, hi Connie. And Rebecca, hi Rebecca. All right, so then I'm going to find the center of my other panel, which is also right in the middle of the design. I'm going to go ahead and clip that in place so I can baste it on. I think I lost a clip along the way. I had 3. Now I have 2. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and baste this in place, and we're almost done. This is almost done. So we're gonna go ahead and baste this. Really quick. Go ahead and move my zipper out of my way. For basting, you can probably get away with it, but I like to just move it out of the way. Better safe than sorry. Okay. Go ahead and clip on our lining panel. Rebecca, you left me a comment. I can see the comments. Hi. Yes! So I've been able to see the comments all along, apparently. I just haven't been getting comments. Okay, so that's clipped on, and I'm going to go ahead and top stitch, or stitch my lining panel down now. All right. I can feel my zipper pull right here, so I'm going to just go ahead and move it out of the way. All right. There's over 60 comments, Brittany. Oh, hi, Brittany. Hello. Well, I guess I'll have a whole lot of comments to go back through because I didn't get any of them. So we're going to go ahead and fold this down, and that's how it's going to kind of look now. See? Oh, and wow, I lined that up good. That was an accident. I did not mean to do that. That was a happy accident. Bob Ross moment right there. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of finger press my waterproof canvas out of the way. Clip my sides down. It's a lot easier with these big, bulky quilted panels, actually, to keep your lining clipped down. I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch that. And then we will sew our edges together, box our corners, and turn it out, and it's done. Hi, Grace, thank you. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, there's our top stitching. Looking good. Now I'm going to match my outside panels. I know this is the world's most basic sewing tutorial, but this is what I had time to do this evening, and I had to get this done anyway because it's going to be on display with that machine I was talking to you about at the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and match up right here. I'm going to match up these edges, and the zipper is going to be facing towards the lining, and that's what'll poke out the corners nice at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and add a clip right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm actually going to open my zipper to halfway. Now, in the tutorial, Jenny says to open your zipper all the way. For me, because I have a compound walking foot and my foot is actually fairly large on my machine, if I open my zipper all the way, one side of the pouch doesn't sew up very well. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Michelle. I did unzip my zipper, Jenny. Look, I unzipped my zipper. I know. Thank you. I'm just thrilled I can see comments now so that you guys can save me from myself and not unzipping my zipper. And I'm just matching up all my corners so they're nice and neat. How have you not made, I don't know how you haven't made this before, but I made my first one yesterday, so I can't judge you. And they're addicting. I'm gonna be making 100 of them because they are the perfect little pouches for embroidery. This one's gonna be a little makeup bag. It says love yourself on the front. A good reminder for all of us. Everybody needs a little love, right? Okay, so I am actually, normally I don't mark an opening, but at the bottom I'm gonna leave an opening to turn it through. So I'm gonna start here and stitch all the way around and end here. Dinner's ready. Okay, well, I am about, I'd say 10 minutes away from the end of this pouch. Or less. Remember when I was looking for my husband with dinner? He's here, but I'm still gonna finish this pouch with you. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and sew up the bottom. Make sure to back tack really well so that when you go to box your corners, it doesn't come undone. And you should be stitching right next to your zipper tabs. And I actually got kind of close, so I'm gonna have to hand crank mine right here, which I very rarely have to do. There we go. Grace, tell hubby dinner has to wait. I did tell him dinner has to wait. My people are waiting on me. He can wait. Sammy, I just batch sewed 10 of these for my son's second birthday as the favors. Oh, that's amazing. Such a good idea. These would make great party favors and they're super easy. I bet people love that. So far, this is my second one ever, but they're going really fast and I love quick sews. Oh, my machine sounds angry. we're gonna, oh, okay. Just sounded angry for a second. I guess it's fine. We're gonna keep going. Oh, I just caught my tail. It's just my thread tail. Everything's fine. Okay, and I'm going to remember not to stitch it all the way closed at the bottom. I've done that. Not on this pattern, but in general. Okay, so I left a pretty decent opening at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and check out where my thread decided it was going to be angry. Just in case here. It looks like it's actually just fine. So it just caught my tail, but it sewed just fine. I'm going to trim all my tails up, and then I'm going to box my corners. Now, normally I don't actually cut out my box corners. I just box them and then trim them. But for this, I have a template, so it's easier to do that. I'm going to go ahead and trim down my seam allowance. So I'm not going to trim where my opening is, but I'm going to trim everything else. I'll kind of try to do this where you can see. I know it's going to be kind of hard. And I got to remember, you guys can probably all see where the comments are, but I can't. I'm trimming right in the comments section right now. And this would go a lot faster if I had bigger scissors, but they're over there and I'm too lazy to get up and go get them. That would take too long. Dinner's waiting on me. Neat trick. At the openings, you sew down the bottom like a 90-degree angle. It makes it so easy when you go to turn it and top stitch it. It does. That is such a good trick, and I forget every time. Grace, you're going to make a bunch for your daughter's dance team. Oh, that's going to be super cute. I bet they're going to like that a lot. I can smell my dinner, and it smells amazing. So for those of you that don't know, Michael not only helps me run this business, but he's a chef full-time, so I'm like the luckiest girl in the world. What's the brand of scissors you're using, Lisa? These are actually these Tim Holtz. They're the little Tim Holtz like snips. They're the 5-inch. I actually have these in all 3 sizes though, and they're amazing. And I just magnetize them to my machine up here so that I don't lose them. They have a little sheath too. I carry a pair in my purse, and I use them as cuticle trimmers, which is not the appropriate use, but they work really well. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and move all my clips out of my way and box my corners real quick. And I only open my zipper halfway, but I can actually feel in here and just open it all the way. And I'm going to nest the seams. Jenny actually has a great tutorial on this, so she teaches you to just nest your seams like that. What's for dinner? So we are having something called bagel burgers, which is a hamburger but on a bagel, and asparagus, and I'm not sure what else he made. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stitch my corners down now. And Jenny, it smells amazing. But I really want to see this pouch finished, so here we are. Okay, and then I'm actually just going to trim my threads and trim the seam allowance down on this corner at the same time. Make it easy. Just like that. Sounds better than what we had. Sammy, what'd you have for dinner? And I know it's probably really hard for you to see what I'm sewing. I'll just scrunch this all up for you, and maybe that'll help. Come on. There we go. I may have over-interfaced this a little bit. Tuna fish sandwich. My favorite food in the whole world's a tuna melt. So if you put pepper jack cheese and sourdough bread with that tuna sandwich, I'd be a happy girl. Although I'm looking forward to these bagel burgers because they smell fantastic. All right, 2 more corners. And I'm probably gonna stitch the lining closed off camera because I'm starving, you guys. But I'll turn it out so you can see how it looks. And there will be lots of photos shared. And for those of you that want a template for this, they're on sale. They're gonna be on sale through the end of the week. They're only $20 right now. And I have a bunch of them already cut so I can ship them out as early as tomorrow for you. I've been trying to keep stock on a lot of my templates so that my shipping times aren't as long, because things have been a little crazy over here, as I'm sure you know. Buried in vinyl from round 2 pre-order, which is a great thing because I love that you all support me. But it means we've had to make some accommodations for that, and one of those things is we keep templates in stock as much as possible now. Hi, Cynthia. I didn't see you when you hopped on, or I would have said hi sooner. Okay, last one. We're almost there. All right. Okay, let's turn it out and see how it looks. I wish I had sourdough. I'm struggling with some stuff, so I was being lazy. You know, Sammy, I was too lazy to go get the good scissors, so it's okay. It happens to all of us. And this is going to be a booger to turn. I can already feel it, because this is batting, embroidery stabilizer, and vinyl on the front panels, and then waterproof canvas interior. So it's a bit much. But I left a pretty big hole, so hopefully it's okay. Although I'm struggling a bit more than I should be already. This is why they call it birthing a bag, I hear. Not that I have children, but I have heard some stories. All right, let's see, there we go. Getting there. I see exterior. Yay, I see exterior. Just got this pattern and 4 others I didn't have yet somehow. Let me tell you, Brittany, Jenny is amazing, and I have all of her templates are going to eventually be available in my shop. Right now, I'm doing the most popularly requested ones first. But she is actually allowing me to exclusively sell her templates. So most of them will be on the website, and a lot of times when she runs a sale, I will also run a sale on her templates. So if you happen to see a sale, best check out my site too. Remember, you're breathing when I've seen those like Mommy and Me classes where they teach you how to breathe for labor. And that's the only experience I have, Grace. Brittany, you're gonna get a few. I have some pink sparkles that you would like. You know, just saying. Okay, here we go. You know what? I'm just gonna stick my whole hand in here now. Poke out the corners. You spelled all wrong, Michelle. We know spelling isn't a requirement over here. And Michelle totally called you out, Brittany. She's right. You're going to get all of them, and we know it. Everything in pink sparkle. All right, I'm just going to poke out my corners. All right. I'm kind of just going to tuck my lining in any old which way at the moment. You need the templates for her envelope wallet. You know, Sammy, I think I could work on that after dinner for you because you're kind of like one of my original customers. I could do that for you. All right. There she is. One very cute custom embroidered pouch. Look at that. No, not pink, purple. You know, Grace, purple is my favorite color. But the pink sparkle looks pretty good. So, all right, check it out though. She's done. I'll stitch up the lining after dinner because you can't smell dinner, but I can smell dinner. And it smells really good and I'm hungry. I love you all. But I'm about to sign off and go get myself some dinner. And then I'm going to pop through the questions and answer as much as I can. And I will try to do another live shortly. Maybe next week with something else so that you can see me sewing up some of the new fun stuff I'm working on, okay? More pink for me. Jenny, I love it. Oh, Jenny, you know what? That makes me feel so good. That's like when you meet your celebrity. There it is. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. I'm really going to zoom in on all my embroidery now. There you go. Enjoy dinner. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Grace. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me while I sewed this up. It's so much fun to be back in my sewing room. I haven't had a ton of time, and I'm trying to make more time to do the things I love. So it's nice to have all my friends here with me while I get to do the things I love to take care of myself. All right, well, I am off to have dinner, but I'll catch you all in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.